SL Podcast, Playing the Field, Field Gym 007. Today I'm joined with Spooky. We got him out of the sandbox. We're going to do a big, and it was SML The Redo, SML No Way Home, whatever you want to call it. We have new teams. It was a very tumultuous and crazy 48 hours, a lot going on. It's like a multiverse of shitstorm that happened. First and foremost, Spooky, we thank you, Bomber, and whatever other veterans we have in here for your service. Hey, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on, man? Yeah, it is without a doubt. First off, actually, thank you for that. And going on to it, it's definitely been a crazy 48 hours with the draft blowing up in our face like that.
Yeah, for sure. And on a smaller scale, we'd like to thank guys like Prime, Bomber, NYT, Dan, Fins, everyone for their efforts on what they did to try to get the SML back on track. I know there was a lot of simulations going on where they were trying to kind of edit stuff to see if they could save the league, and it just didn't happen. I know there's a lot of guys that were willing to donate time, like Dan, Fins, all them boys that were just willing to go through and edit ratings, contracts, whatever, you name it. They were trying to make it right to where guys didn't lose a lot just because EA, unfortunately, is not able to help. But we move on. Just wanted to give a quick shout out, thank those guys for their willingness and the efforts they did to try to save the league. But this is a draft recap, all right? We're going to talk about a quick recap here. I'm going to throw it on the screen. We've got this neat little clip from Bombers video tonight. We got the AFC East. We've got Woods with the Bills, the Dolphins, Mike, the Jets, KJ, and Fig with the Patriots. What do you think about that division?
Well, looking at it, honestly, when things start to unfold, when the second I saw KJ take the Jets, I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I would like to be in this division. You know, I like Fig, I love KJ, I love Mike,
Mm-hmm.
and I love Woods. So it's honestly like it's the good old boy division, I would
Right.
say. But when it comes to taking it, it's kind of a toss up. Like I know Mike's good. Big still has some stuff to prove. KJ shows flashes when he's dedicated. But if I had to really like go for it, honestly, I would say it's Woods division.
Yeah, it's kind of hard, and we'll go ahead and throw it up on the screen. We'll kind of go through the roster. We don't even need to for this. You know that the Buffalo Bills have them beat. There's really not a better roster than that stuff. Well, you got Allen, Diggs. There's just too much talent to overcome on that, and I think it's really going to be the Bills' division to lose. Mike, his defense is good. I think he throws too many interceptions. Maybe with Tua, he gets things going. KJ was, I forget.
He was the Giants, so he's still in New York.
Okay, still in New York. He has a mobile quarterback, a little bit stronger arm, possibly a little bit more upside with, man, I'm really blanking on names right now. But Fig with the Patriots, he's going home. He's staying out there in Boston. Mac Jones probably has a few ratings bumps. You got Gilmore. You got some talent. I think there's going to be a slugfest between Mike, KJ, and Fig to try to compete with Woods. Woods is probably the best player in that division, and I think that he runs away with it. Just from looking at it at this standpoint. Now let's move on to the AFC North. We got the Bengals with Monty, Bomber. He stayed home. He's got the Brads. QP, the reigning SML champion, he gets Lamar Jackson. A little bit of an upgrade with the Ravens. And then Spades, he gets a little bit of a downgrade. He loses the Ravens and he goes to the Steelers. What are your thoughts on the AFC North?
Okay, so since this was my original division in I don't even know the 2 season spree that we had.
Mm-hmm.
Monty having the Bengals, looking at them, their defense is honestly fast. Like looking at it blankly, it's like it's got Dan linebackers pretty much in every single position. So that defense, once it starts like growing and everything, my problem was I couldn't win some games early on, so everybody's morale was so low.
Right.
But if Monty can get some games under his belt and get that little head start and run the correct offense that benefits Burrow's arm, he's going to have a chance. Yeah, in all honesty, he's going to have a chance to compete. Spades, I honestly think might be the worst in this division.
Oof.
Looking at it, because like playing Spades, he loves tight ends, loves like trying to make time, like move out with the quarterback, buy some time, and I don't think you're doing that first season. especially if he went the Matt route and stuck with Haskins. QP did a lot with so little in Detroit. So taking this like monumental upgrade, I honestly have to say like this is gonna be a battle between Mad Bomber and QP for this division. But I'm honestly gonna give it to QP like overall the entire cycle. I'm honestly gonna give it to QP probably like by a game or two.
Wow. Yeah, I think it's going to be a very close matchup there between Bomber and QP. They're both very similar. I don't know how much film study QP does compared to Bomber. I know Bomber likes his film study and that he will do it. And you look, he's got Myles Garrett. He has Chubb, who's already 96 overall. Teller, a lot of good players throughout the offensive line, defense. You know, he kind of bragged about how easy it was for him to turn out safeties and guys in the secondary there in Cleveland. I like the fact that QP has Lamar Jackson, one of the biggest threats in Madden. He's got a pretty good secondary with Humphrey and Marcus Peters. And also you throw in the fact that, you know, you get Marquise Brown. You get some weapons here and there. And I kind of agree with Spade probably being the bottom feeder in the AFC North. There's not a whole lot there. He is probably going to have a decent pass rush. You got Cameron Hayward, TJ Watt, both 95 overall. And then you had Stephon Tuitt at 90. So I think he's going to play maybe some better defense where he's struggled with the Ravens. Not really sure why he struggled with the Ravens, but maybe with the pass rush he may be a little bit better. But you look, the quarterback situation, not ideal. Ben Roethlisberger, 73 overall, and an 85 throw power. He may go with Dewey Haskins or Mason Rudolph before he goes with Big Ben. But you do have some pieces on offense. You got Najee Harris, who could probably dev pretty quickly. Juju is obviously still there. Chase Claypool. He's got some burners out there, Spooky. And that's kind of scary. And then the Bengals, you can't sleep on the Bengals. I think, like you said, it's a very stacked defense. But with Joe Burrow, that's the only reason I didn't pull the trigger on him. That arm is just not good. And I know that Meats managed to turn some things out with Tua, where he devved the arm quite a bit. But that's a no-go for me.
Yeah, can I jump in again real fast?
Yeah.
All right, so Spade's biggest problem is like I don't know like how well you like looked at the stats of last season, but me and Spade's first game, I broke the passing yards in a game with Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow had like 560 passing yards. Spades can't play defense,
Right.
but like you hit on, the Steelers' defense is honestly, in my opinion, probably if not a lot, it's better. It's flat out better than the Ravens' defense. So maybe with TJ Watt roaming around out there,
A little bit of pass rush.
maybe
stop the
he'll
run.
exactly. Maybe he can actually get some, like force some 3 and outs and actually get the ball more.
Sure.
And maybe take things slow. But still has a lot to prove, especially with that team.
All right. We'll move on. AFC South. We're coming home. We're coming home. Tell the world that Prime is coming home. All right, he took the Colts. Prime time 0-0-0. 18-time SML champion and probably a 5-time loser in the Super Bowl, if not more. Just got bounced by QP. Never really found his footing with the Chiefs. I was very disappointed with the offense with Kansas City. Didn't really light it up through the air. He attempted just to say, fuck it, I'm going to try streaks. I'm just going to force it too much season 1. Season 2, he went with the primetime offense, which doesn't suit the Chiefs. You have to create guys in space, crossers, get those boys with speed, have like Dan and Bomber type mentality on offense where you have a little bit more different concepts, I guess, where you draw things up more than Prime, where it's just running the plays and say screw it. So you got Colts, Prime with the Colts, Matt, who took the Jaguars, ZZ staying with Texan, another coming home guy, and Rice, no bean with the Titans, King Henry. What do you think about the AFC South?
Ooh. So of course, with the video that Prime put out, the coming home video, and also you hit on it, the amount of Super Bowl losses. Prime is. I didn't go out, did I?
You cut out for just a second.
Yeah, my monitor shut off. I didn't touch it for so long. All right. So as I was saying, Prime is like the LeBron James of this league. Like he tried something different. Now he's got to go back home and try to get one.
All right.
Try to redeem himself. Matt was good. Matt was solid. has decent running backs in Jacksonville, but I'm not sure it's gonna be like able to develop like Najee. I think he honestly should have took the Titans. Uh, ZZ, he's ZZ. All
Mm-hmm.
right, he's coming home, Houston. You know, he built it
Mm-hmm.
last in our little mini season, so he's probably has a very good idea of what he needs to do. Maybe make some changes. Uh, double rice, no beans. The Chipotle order. Took the Titans,
Mm-hmm.
which I mean, starting out on paper, I'd probably say the Titans are the best team, but that's just on paper. If you just looked at rosters,
Right.
not the users, this is obviously Prime's division to lose. Will
Right.
he lose it? I highly doubt it.
Yeah, I think this is a real preferable division for Prime. Obviously, the offensive line is better than Kansas City's. Not that it really matters. He's got D-Buck. Jonathan Taylor is already 89 overall with 94 speed, and that's going to play into playing defense. There's a lot of good defensive pieces on the Colts. I think that's going to bode well for him. The receivers kind of leave a lot to die for in Madden terms. Corners, not the best. Quarterback, Carson's probably not going to stay there. He can save $15 million by cutting him right now. I wouldn't be surprised if he rolled with him for this year and then tried something going into next season, or just to see if he can dev him if he has a good year. Oh, I clicked the wrong team now. Um, so not shocked that he went back to the Colts at all. We actually had a conversation before the draft, and he wasn't lying to me where he said he was going back to the Colts. I do disagree with you on the Titans versus Jaguars selection. I think the Jaguars are the better team because I played with the Titans and the defense is really not good. If you look at one piece and one piece alone, Shaquille Griffin with 94 speed as a cornerback, that's killer to
Yeah,
have. I mean, that's
true.
awesome for Madden. I mean, for you to be able to, just from a speed standpoint, be able to compete with some of these guys. He also has, obviously, the rookie quarterback in T-Law, maybe not as good as he was when Coop got him. Pretty solid speed ratings, nice arm, and 86 short, 80 medium, and 81 deep throw. Not great with the running back, pretty average speed. Receivers, probably going to force it to DJ Chark and try to develop Jamal Agnew with 93 speed. I'm not really sure. I think Matt's going to try to pound it. We know how he likes to do that. And there's really not a lot of great backs. I do know Coop went Etienne Jr., obviously with the 92 speed being a rookie. Maybe that's the guy that you turn to. And he was just a good back for Madden. He was really hard to tackle. The Texans, I would not have made that selection. Really just a bad team, dude. I mean, you've got Tunsil, Cooks, Watson, Reed, and Desmond King are the only players that are over 80 overall, and I don't think they have very many first-round picks for a while. So that's a really bad team to start with. He's not a very good player. You know he's going to try to run outside. He's got Deshaun Watson, so that's good, but it's a very nerfed version of Deshaun Watson, so you're not really going to succeed. I think there were a lot better teams on the board. I mean, I'm pretty sure the Packers were still out there. A lot of other teams that he could have went with, and the Texans are going to be your bottom feeder division. He's going to still give you some good fights just because the way he plays Madden, but really not a chance for ZZ, I don't think. And then the Titans, a lot of good pieces to start with. Really tough, though. Tough sell with Tannehill. Weak arm, you're going to see that when you try to throw it outside the numbers, when you try to push it down the field on deep crossers. Forget trying to throw streak routes unless you just burn them and you happen to be able to get it within that 30 to 40 yard range. Otherwise, they're going to be underthrown as well. Um, Not a bad pick, though. I mean, you get Derrick Henry, and that's kind of like the OP move is those power backs. So, and I think I only played Bean maybe the one time, and he seemed like he favored throwing the ball outside and running it with the running back. So, not a bad selection for him. I think, though, this is a very preferable division for Prime to go back home in.
Without a doubt. But real fast,
Yeah,
I touched on like what could be done with the Bengals. Like you obviously got to win early, give the
right,
young guys morale.
right.
What would in a division against the quote unquote goat,
Mm-hmm,
your brother?
mm-hmm.
What advice would you give Double Rice No Beans with the Titans?
That's tough, dude. I mean, you gotta count your losses. I know Tiny was giving me shit because I let Jeffrey Simmons wind up walking at the end of it. He's a little bit better now than what he is or was when I inherited him. But you have to know your roster a little bit. Let some of the veterans walk or try to trade them before their expiration date hits. You got a lot of kind of older veterans on there. I made some moves that I wish I didn't. Obviously, the Gronkowski and Antonio Brown trade. But try to be aggressive. I mean, do what you can to move it. If you are going to roll with Tannehill, I would try to do an offense that suits him. Short to medium passes. Try the design PA rollout type plays, and obviously pound Derrick Henry. You know you've got a great running back, and Julio was pretty much freaking unstoppable when I had him. So I don't think he's quite the same player. I think now he's only superstar versus the X Factor he was when I started with him. Honestly, I'd be looking to draft a quarterback if at all possible, and try to be. If you're any better at defense than I am, you're gonna succeed on develop a guy, and a guy that you want to develop is the cornerback in Farley. 95 speed. I mean, that's like the perfect Madden cornerback if you can get him devved. That's just my 2 cents on the Titans. I think he's going to struggle, though. It's not a great place to be. And when you take that weak arm and leave him outside, and then it happens to frickin' snow in Nashville when the Dolphins are in there on a must-win game to get in the playoffs, not a great situation. We'll move on.
I got you.
We're going to go to the AFC West. We got Colt 45 and the 2 zigzags as the Broncos. Meets, he took the Chargers. Coop, the Chiefs. D. Muse, who we really haven't heard of much, with the Raiders. What do you think about the AFC West?
So, no lie, that D Muse almost would have read Spooky World. When I was looking at this team, I saw Darren Waller.
Yeah.
And I saw some good development pieces on the offensive line, and a couple good defensive picks with a pretty solid running back to start out with.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at this division, it's definitely one of the lesser powers, but I believe it can still compete in the AFC.
Sure.
Colt's a good player. I haven't played him in a while since I was the 49ers in Madden. What was that, Madden 20, Madden 21? Yeah, Madden 20. And Meats is always there. I don't think he's like as good as he used to be. No. I think he has some problems. Coop, don't let Coop fool you. Especially, yeah, without a doubt, Coop will sneak up on you. Especially now that he has a solid team that he's a fan of in real life, so he knows this team a little bit more.
It's stacked.
Exactly. Looking at it though, I believe I can't speak on D Muse too much. Like you said, we don't know him.
Mm-hmm.
I would say this is Meat's division, but I would not be surprised whatsoever if Coop maybe stole 1 or 2 and Colt stole maybe 1 or 2. It's going to be a fight, especially for that second place spot.
So Coop has the best team without a doubt. The best win-now team in the game, the best win-now team in the division. Kelsey, 99, the best player on the team, kind of surprising. Hill, 97, Mahomes, 97. There's your holy trinity right there. Go out and win some fucking games, Coop. This is your time to do it. You have to do it now. Meats is going to build a team. He's got Herbert. But you've got the team that's built to win now. 99 speed, 99 acceleration, 98 agility for Tyreek Hill. You've got to use him. You've got to be successful with him before he hits that over the 30 hump towards the end of the cycle. The only thing that goes against Coop, he's the lower of the good echelon of guys because he often struggles with decision making on offense. Sometimes he'll do some strange things on defense, and he gets away from the running game a little too quickly at times. And I don't know now if he's with the homeboys, if he's going to try to force it too much. But right now, if I had to close my eyes and throw a dart at the dartboard, I'd say the Chiefs are going to win the division first. And long term, you'd have to look at Meats as being possibly the best player in the division. I think, like you said, it's a pretty equal division in terms of talent, player talent. Cancel. But Meats is really good at deving players. Meats is really good at drafting players. And he gets a really good quarterback with Herbert, who's mobile, who has a great arm. He's got a lot of pieces there. So I think, like you said, overall, I think Meats will win the most titles. But I wouldn't be, division titles. But I think that Coop is going to make it interesting.
For sure.
We'll move on. We'll go to the NFC. We got the NFC East. Grandma's ends is the Cowboys. Dump with the Eagles. Coach Paulie with the New York Football Giants. And DW with the WTF football team. What do you think about the NFC West?
So I'm gonna be honest, this is a really weird division.
Yeah.
Like I just can't see Polly with the Giants. I don't know, it just looks weird, like looking at it on my phone. Graham's, that's a solid pick. If Graham focuses on Madden, he can win this division easily. If he just focuses on Madden. Dump, starting out maybe like the first season, Dump's solid. Dump has a particular way that he plays offense, and I believe people like started to figure that out. And now you're transitioning to like something that's probably it's definitely less great than what he had in the Cardinals.
Right.
So if he develops a team and develops Hurts, then he'll definitely be the majority winner in the division. Polly, especially now that high school football is pretty sure is over in his neck of the woods. He's going to focus on the game a lot more. Don't let him lie to you. The Giants, though, Bomber and Dan touched on it in their podcast that developing Saquon Barkley, even since he lost his abilities, it's not going to be hard.
No.
Especially with a good player like Polly.
Right.
Daniel Jones, I would love to see Daniel Jones succeed, but I don't believe Polly will stick with him. He'll definitely steal some games. DW is pretty good, especially with that team. NYT developed that team good last year. That defensive line is nasty going into season 2 or late season 1. So honestly, this is another division that's like pretty solid, like pretty on par with each other. I could honestly say it's a toss up. I would personally love to see Polly be the majority winner, but later on in the cycle, I could definitely see Dump being the majority. So it might be a pretty even split, I would say, between all of them.
I think Graham's wins season 1. The team, the Madden ratings guy loves the Cowboys. Zeke's still an X factor. If he doesn't turn away from Zeke too early, he keeps pounding Zeke and letting Zeke feast. There's just so many good players on the Cowboys for Madden, even though they're probably not that good in real life. The Cowboys should win season 1. You mentioned the defensive line on the Redskins, their football team. 93, 89, 87, and 83. The first 2 are your defensive tackles, the last 2 are your defensive ends. That play 4-3, you're going to stuff the run, you're going to get after the passer. Quarterback situation, not ideal, not good at all. You probably have to start Heineke. He's a little bit more mobile, or try to make a trade for and pretty much do what NYT did and trade for Jordan Love or somebody like that that's kind of younger, maybe a little bit better arm. There are definitely pieces with the football team. DW likes to run the ball. DW likes to roll out of the pocket and hit crossers, hit little drag routes, and I just don't think that he's going to be the top flight guy. He's definitely a frustrating player to play with and going to have a really good defense. Paulie, he mentioned, Tom Brady's noodle arm, but Daniel Jones has a noodle arm to start with. He's got 87 arm strength. Accuracies are not that good. I mean, they're really middle of the pack, but he's very mobile. And I think Paulie maybe putting too much emphasis on having a super mobile quarterback. And really the pieces are just average when I look at the Giants. This is a very average team, and it would be interesting to see what Paulie could do. Like you said, he's going to be a little more dedicated to the game, and maybe he makes it interesting with the Giants. It would be good to see Paulie be able to compete and aggravate Grams and the boys. Not sure what's going to happen in Dump. He's got the poor man's Kyler Murray with Jalen Hurts. That's the only reason why I'm discounting Dump season 1. I don't think that Jalen's going to allow him to do as much as Kyler did, especially season 1. I mean, fucking Dump was unstoppable season 1. But you got anything else you want to touch on with the NFC East?
I just can't wait till Prime trades Carson Wentz to DW for a first-round pick somehow.
Oh, you think so? Like that's going to happen, huh?
Yeah, Prime's going to get something.
The old T-Rape, huh?
Oh, without a doubt.
Oof. All right, NFC North. All right, we got the friendliest guy out there. He takes an ass beating. He'll smile, shake your hand, say, how you doing? Keep it moving. Fins with the Bears. We got Clink, Snoopy with the Lions. You got Noel Overlord, who took a Seahawks team that wasn't expected to do lickety-dick, and he did something with them. He's the Packers. Noel Overlord. Don't forget about him. Terrible two-step. Likes to run the ball, play defense. Dalvin Cook with the Vikings. Skull, brother. NFC North. Get to it.
All right, so the Canadian boy Fence himself, A-Bass. It's gonna be tough,
Oof.
especially developing a young quarterback with the way he plays.
Yeah.
He's gonna be tough. Then you have Clink, the prodigy of Faz.
Mm-hmm.
So you already know Faz is gonna be on his shoulder, helping him out with everything, especially in a division that he can definitely come out on top in. Noel, love Noel, solid player. We're gonna see how good he is at accounting when it comes to the Packers because that is gonna be a financial nightmare.
Right.
But if he sells the house and can end up with a good, fast running back like he had in Carson in Seattle, and just keep Aaron Rodgers on pace, use him when you need to, and bring in Love or another quarterback in the draft, then honestly I can see Noel taking this because Noel honestly likes to run the football more.
Yeah.
So if you let Devontae walk, it probably wouldn't hurt him as bad as it would others. Terrible two-step. I love the Vikings skull. Kirk Cousins, love Captain Kirk. Sadly, he's not the best Madden quarterback.
No.
Like honestly, the NFC North is all pretty. They're pretty solid to start, except for the Lions, poor Lions, but they have the draft capital to catch up, especially with the way QP laid out the blueprints. I would have to say terrible two-step is probably going to take this a majority.
Really?
But Noel's going to be right there. Once Noel figures out the financial situations and can get like a solid running back, which isn't hard to find in the draft. I haven't played with the new scouting, so I'm not sure how drafting is. But if Noel can get a solid running back, him and Terrible Two-Step are going to run this.
Terrible Two-Step really hasn't been a prominent player in several cycles. He was very competitive with the Bengals this cycle. So at least season 1, I didn't really pay attention to season 2, to be honest with you. But I think that the Packers are your win now team. You got Aaron Rodgers, you got Tay, you've got Jair, Amos, and Aaron Jones is a 90 overall running back, 91 speed, 93 acceleration, 94 agility. Very Chris Carson-like, but better overall rating for the beginning. I expect him to pound it with Aaron Jones, get him going. How you doing? Keep it moving. And the Packers will win your division season 1. I think Clink with the draft capital and really I think with the draft capital, and he's got to get rid of Jared Goff's salary. Once you figure the quarterback situation out and get rid of Jared Goff, because I don't think he's ever going to dev into what you need. I think with the Thanos being on your side, willing to change the universe around, snap the fingers, move some things, coach you through your games on the headset, I think the Lions will probably split some divisions with the Packers.
I got you. Honestly, I did kind of like mess up. I was like, I patted Clink on the head, and then I just kind of like threw him to the side and said Nolan Terrible Two-Step would split it. But that's because I know Clink makes bad decisions like I do.
Wow.
But if Clink can just clean that up just a little bit, he'll definitely take 1 or 2, I believe.
Wow. All right then, we'll go on to the NFC South. We've got the Bucks with Jay Smooth. We've got Dirty Dan, Pastor Dan. He's the Falcons. Hey, it's Faz. He's the Panthers. Future with the Saints. The NFC South, pretty loaded. A lot of star-studded guys. I stayed the hell out of there myself. What do you think about the NFC South?
The NFC South is without a doubt probably, in my opinion, the strongest division in the entire SML in this redraft. Jay Smooth, I haven't seen him play really, but the way Bomber and Prime were talking him up in the draft, it's gonna be fun to watch. Future, me and Future have always had a rivalry. So he's definitely gonna be good. The Saints, one of those teams that has financial hardships.
For sure.
So if he can figure that out, then he's gonna have a chance. Faz, Faz, real fast, is an amazing player. Um, People give him heck for this because since he didn't have Josh Allen, he lost to me.
Right.
There will be no spooky slander out here. I'll just put that
Amen,
out.
brother.
But
I'm a
Faz is the best, I would say, in this division
yeah.
when it comes to offensive. Dan is of course going to study Faz like a book every way. He's going to be up till 5 a.m. red-eyed looking at game film. So obviously they're going to split this. I think Faz is going to edge him out, but him and Dan are definitely going to be fighting for this. Future might grab one. J Smooth, the way they were talking, I haven't seen him really play. It'd be cool if he grabbed one, but I'm going to have to lean towards Faz taking it the majority.
Yeah.
And I'm really gonna love when Faz coaches Clink to the playoffs and they meet.
Oof.
And just friendship goes down the drain.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with you. I would think the Panthers are gonna run away with it. I think Faz goes back to last cycle's game plan, pounding the rock on the ground. CMC 98 overall, 25 years of age, 92 speed, 93 acceleration, 97 agility. I fucked up earlier. I said Gilmore's on the Patriots. He's on the Panthers, ladies and gentlemen. So Faz has a very good corner. Not a terrible salary at $5 million. He is 30 years old, so maybe he looks to shop him. Faz, a very savvy GM. It's a very stacked defense. He's got DJ Moore, wide receiver, 93 speed. So there's pieces on offense. The quarterback situation, not ideal. You go from best or one of the best quarterbacks in the game with Josh Allen and the Bills to now you've got a guy who can't stop getting benched, Cam Newton, Sam Darnold, PJ Walker. Not sure what he's going to do season one. Likely going to probably roll with them boys or try to maybe make a trade for a guy like Tannehill. Bring a guy like Tanny in. He'd be serviceable for a year or two until you can get a quarterback in Carolina that you can dev. It's going to be hard for him to get a good quarterback, though, because he's going to pick 25 or worse. I mean, he's going to be 25 through 32. And that's kind of tough to get a good quarterback. They usually go pretty quick, the first 10, 15 picks, and there's really only been 4 or 5 quarterbacks that are worth a damn in these drafts, and they're rated, first round through third round, and those guys are all going in the top 15 picks. So not sure that he's going to have a great time getting the quarterback situation down. Anyway, the Saints, like you said, they're cap strapped. They do have a lot of good pieces. I like that. Obviously, you got Kamara. He's getting a little bit older. Mikey T's up there. Kind of slow for a wide receiver, 87 speed. You've got to make some savvy roster moves here. You can't mess this up. But Marcus Lattimore, great Madden corner, 93 speed, 88 overall, 25 years of age. The defense is what you got to lean on, and you're pretty stacked there. So I think Future is going to compete. Dan is the most interesting pick there. I'm not sure why he went with the Falcons. Quarterback situation, running back situation, team situation, not great. It's just, I'm kind of scratching my head as to why Dan went with the Falcons. Obviously, you've got Kyle Pitts, who is a physical anomaly on offense at tight end, and A.J. Terrell, corner on defense, kind of your stars there, and C.J. Ridley as well. Just not really sure why Dan went there. I think it's between Dan and Faz, and it's a father-son thing. Dan tutored Faz back in the day, and now they're going to have some pretty big matchups. Yeah, I don't know if you were aware of that. I don't know. I think it's going to be a bloodbath. Those guys are going to know each other very well. Future's a guy that's going to sneak some games in here and there, but the more that Dan plays him, the more that Faz plays him, they're going to figure Future out. Future's going to be a 3rd or 4th seed in that division. He barely won the NFC South. Oh, that's Woods. Future was the Bears, struggled in the NFC North, so not sure that he's going to be able to compete. Not sure. I think that's going to belong between Dan and Faz, honestly.
Yeah, but one last little thing on them. Their teams are like really similar.
Yeah.
They're both strapped at quarterback. They're both great players. So they're really both in the same boat when it comes to drafting. They're both going to be picking late. Dan won some games with a 5th round quarterback.
Right.
In our little mini cycle. So
can't count him out.
Exactly. Can Dan get a late round guy, have him do what he needs to do, while can Faz do the same?
For
Can
sure.
Faz win with that 5th-round quarterback?
For sure. And I think that Faz wins season 1 overall. I think Dan and Faz will take turns on winning that division.
I can agree with that.
Last but not least, the NFC West. We got Teeny Titan, San Francisco 49ers. It went from Fig to a different accent altogether. We've got NYT with the Cardinals. He jumped ship. He went from quarterback hell and a great defense to a pretty solid team all around. Kyler and the boys. I went with the Rams, and then my co-host went with the Seahawks. Go ahead, break down the NFC West.
All right, so this one's tough. Obviously, it's saved the best for last. It just naturally ends up that way. This one's hard because, of course, I want to say myself. I saw the division. I believe I can compete with all of y'all. So obviously, I want to say myself can win this division. Old Tiny though, I really don't know what Tiny can do with the 49ers. They have a great quarterback in Trey Lance if he goes ahead and goes with them, which I believe he will. NYT, the Cardinals are loaded to start out.
Right.
And NYT proved making it to the NFC Championship that he can compete. So, especially with this stacked game, I believe Kyler Murray's an X factor now.
Yeah. First one.
Yeah, and you with the Rams. Rams are a great win now team. They've done nothing but get better. Odell Beckham, while not as good in real life as he used to be, yeah, still very, very much a good wide receiver in Madden, especially paired up with Cooper Kupp. And then you have Aaron Donald and Ramsey on the defense. Like, it's just crazy. It's a loaded team. Me with the Seahawks, Russell, mobile, got a big arm, decent arm. It's 93 throw power. But I definitely have the speed on the outside that I like. I have a solid defense starting out that I like. Have a running back that I'm honestly gonna say I can probably move on from and get something for.
Wow.
So it's also gonna be tough. NYT's proved that he can win so far in this Madden. So of course I'm just gonna go ahead, be a gentleman, and say that he is gonna win the start out. But you best believe those Seahawks, they're gonna be on him. They're gonna be on him.
All right, so I think the Cardinals win the division. Like you said, they've got the best team right now, the best quarterback that's just going to keep getting better. And NYT may be the best player in our division. He plays in more leagues. I don't know if he's won Super Bowls in his other leagues. He seems like he's really figured this Madden out this year, and he's playing the best football that he's done probably since I've known him in the SML. He's always been a guy that would, he's kind of like a wild card. There'd be games he'd blow his ass out, and there are games that he'd blow you out. And now he's just been a consistent winner. And then a super mobile quarterback and D-Hop. You got to like that with the Cardinals. Tiny, always tough games against Tiny. This year, he has a tendency to throw a lot of interceptions. I think you start Trey Lance day one. You got the speed, pretty good arm. Accuracies are not good, but you got Kittle, Bosa, Warner, a lot of great pieces there, and Deebo Samuel. So actually another team that's kind of a win-now team. I think that Tiny's going to compete. Obviously, you with the Seahawks. I was going back and forth between the Rams and the Seahawks. I just didn't care for the secondary situation in Seattle. The receivers is what made it interesting with Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf. But I went with the Rams. I think that you're going to compete. You're a pretty good player. At least you were last cycle. You were in the AFC North this first 2 seasons of this cycle, kind of struggling in a pretty good division with Bomber. That's just tough to get anything going. And then you didn't have a strong arm quarterback. I think your passing game is going to open up with Russ. The fact that he's mobile, the fact that the arm's 93. I think you're going to see more of those tight window throws go your way than with Joey Burrow. And then I went with the Rams. Like you said, win now. You got pieces. Ramsey, 99 overall. Donald, 99 overall. Von Miller coming off the edge. Cooper Kupp, unfortunately, is the best receiver. He's slower than Dick. But Stafford, I liked the arm strength. I liked Cam Akers at running back. I thought there was a lot of good pieces there. My main thing, if I can't win a division, I want to beat Tiny more times than not. So that's kind of my goal for the rest of the cycle, is just to beat Tiny and split games with you. NYT, I think, is going to be my my toughest one to get over. I think you and I will probably split some games. You'll probably win more than not, and I'll be the bottom of the division. But as long as we can compete and maybe be better than 7-10, like I've been the first 2 seasons, that I consider that a dub. I think the Cardinals win. Right now, they probably win the most overall. I think you'll probably come out with another probably 2 division titles, if not at least be a wild card team coming out of the division, and then Tiny and I will take turns being the division bottom feeder.
Ooh, that's tough. In the Madden league that I was in before the SML, my last season I was the Seahawks, and it's the only time I made the playoffs. I have not won a division title in the SML, but looking at this division, I believe we're all really around the same skill level.
Sure.
NYT just knows the game better at the moment. But once we all get on that same page, get these teams where we want them, I think we each have a chance to win this division.
All right, so we talked about divisions. We got one last question to cover. We're at 40 minutes. People have already tuned out. Super Bowl champion. Who's going to win it season 1?
Oh, Lord.
The Simbadi.
Yeah.
Picking.
Looking at it.
Yeah. Look at it.
Oh, it's honestly tough. Everybody's spread out, Bomber.
For sure. I think
Without doubt.
I think I'd go Bomber too. It's a win-now team. Not win-now team, but it's a stacked team out the beginning. Great defense. He's got Chubb. Chubb was absolutely OP. He won the first Simbadi, and then you got the other guy who won the other Simbadi. So the winner's coming out of the AFC North. I think that Prime did most of his winning back when Andrew Luck was there.
Yeah.
You know, the quarterback situation has a lot to be desired, and Carson has not done well. He's had a great season in real life, honestly, but he's going to struggle, I think, going from Mahomes and be able to make those tight window throws. I think you might see some high interception numbers. The only thing that will save that is the fact that he's definitely going to stay with the game manager mentality now and pick his shots. But when you need those throws, you're not going to be able to make those throws with Carson Wentz. And he's going to struggle with that. And if you had to pick somebody in the NFC, obviously Faz. I think you could say Faz would maybe give you a run for your money. Faz and NYT.
I want to say Faz, but I think that quarterback is going to be his Achilles heel.
Mm-hmm.
And I think NYT is going to make it to the NFC Championship in the first season. But if NYT plays his game smart, I believe NYT will be the NFC representative in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I could definitely see like a Cardinals, Browns, Rams.
Yeah.
Somebody.
Yeah, without doubt.
All right, buddy. I think we're gonna wrap this one up. Like I said, we've probably bored everybody to death. We're at 42 minutes. Hope you enjoyed this draft breakdown. It was really interesting. Like I said, shout out to Primetime and the boys for weathering the storm. Fuck you to EA Sports, Madden, and the boys for letting our league die. But guess what? We rose like a phoenix from the ashes. We're back in black. We'll be playing games, I think, the 15th. So Wednesday, I think we'll finally get to play some games.
Yeah.
SML football is right around the corner. Get your stuff in. Make sure you're making the cuts. If you haven't sent your list to Prime yet for your free agents, you better do it so you don't miss out on that. A lot of little wrinkles in the rules right now, so you need to keep yourself abreast, aware. Check out the admin updates and just do what you need to do. Appreciate you for tuning in. Check us out, simmaddenleague.com, daddyleagues.com/SML. Tweet your tweets at simmaddenleague. That way we can like and retweet that stuff. Appreciate the love and support from everyone else out there in the CFM community. Like, subscribe, take care. Have a great day.